For more analysis, let me turn to Gilson Schwartz. He's a professor of economics at University of Sao Paulo. Professor, I want to begin by just asking the general mood in the country after the horrific scenes that unfolded on Sunday.
Well, hello. Well, I think that the best description of what we're going through now is that President Lula got himself a second inauguration. We had the first inauguration a week ago, and then after the insurrection, the extreme right insurrection, that reminds us of something that took place in Washington actually 2 years ago. It's a Bannon-esque design of insurrection. Everyone now takes for granted that the legislative, the executive, the Congress, everyone is united in favor of democracy. People see Lula as a leader that has amassed such an impressive support that he didn't even have before the inauguration, the first inauguration. So it's a radically new situation with much more strength. And I would say, really, a second inauguration for President Lula.
You know, we've seen protests calling for justice, democracy, punishment for people who did this on Sunday. Some 1,500 people have been arrested. What is next for these people? Can every single one of these 1,500 actually be charged and go through the legal system? You would think it would really be a big problem for the courts.
Well, we can also take the U.S. example here. More than 900 people are under prosecution in the U.S. So there is enough room in jail for most of these people. I don't think that everyone is going to be in prison in the next couple of weeks. But Alexandre de Moraes, the judge of the Supreme Court, who is actually ruling this process, has already warned that this is not a vacation. This is really a serious legal process under the law without any breach of human rights. So it's a lot of people, but most of them come from the southern part of the country, some of them from center-west. All the funders of this, as already mentioned in the press today, we have a list of funders coming out. And as a matter of fact, the Senate has just approved the federal intervention in the security area in the capital city of Brasilia. So I think that actually, if you take a look at the financial markets, they didn't even blink. I mean, this was really an insurrection, very much like what took place in the U.S. when Trump was trying to.
Well, I mean, the similarities are quite, it's really remarkable. Let me move on to Bolsonaro himself, who has yet to concede the election here. How much do people in Brazil blame him for what happened on Sunday?
Well, the most recent polls indicate that about 40% of people still don't see him as the main, the main responsible for what happened. But about 80% are in favor of democracy, are against the military dictatorship. So the most recent polls indicate that Bolsonaro still has, let's say, some room, some oxygen to come back to Brazil and face whatever criminal prosecutions he's about to face. But people don't really, at least if we take what's coming out of the polls, people don't see him as the one who's guilty of what happened. This will take more of a political rather than a legal process. And we know that about 40% of Brazilians actually voted for him. So we still have opposition. But what's clear now is that insurrection is not a way to go. If they want power, they will have to wait for the next round of presidential elections.